Hey guys, it's me Mr. 250 and welcome back to Umineko. We last left off with Jessica, getting a phone call, apparently.
もしもしお待たせバートラー6年も音沙汰なしとはどういうつもりだ久しぶりだなお、そうなのか知るかよそんなのうぜえぜじゃあ今年の親族会議はちゃんと来るわけだろ
Finally, right?
6年ぶりだな
5 businessmen in expensive suits were visiting in the parlor, giving Cross and Natsuhi a progress report on their business. Spread out on the table were the blueprints and designs for a building, as well as documents related to expenditures and the like. So packed that even a teacup would have gotten in the way. Officially, they were here to give Cross a progress report. But in actuality, Cross had called them all the way over to Rokinjima so that Natsuhi could hear from them directly. This was because Natsuhi needed to hear someone other than her husband explain what condition their business was in. In short, even though another family conference without Kinzo was approaching, their business had not yet earned them any money. After telling the guests to wait for a short while, Cross took Natsuhi out into the hall and once again summarized the situation.
つまり、我々の想像をはるかに超えて、事業は素晴らしくうまくいっていると彼らは言っているのだ。
Even though it hasn't made a cent.
ここで私と知事との私的なコネクションが大きく効いてきた。もはや絶対に釣り落とすことはない。
We're going to the moon, kids.
それどころか、例の委任状だけでなく、これまでの損失さえも一気に取り戻すことが可能なくらいの大きな話になりつつあるのだ。
Cross spoke passionately. This made things seem all the more suspicious to Natsuhi. But this time, at least, she had to admit that everything really did seem to be going well. Certainly, this business Cross boasted of had expanded in scope over the last year, and was promising an even greater payoff than had been anticipated in the beginning. Whether it proved to be a winner or not, investors had gathered around it, and they were rapidly gaining funds. This must be what they meant when they said that money summons money. It was probably the greatest success of Cross's life so far. No, it probably would become his greatest success yet. You know, until they die. That point where Natsuhi's misgiving lay. True, it was certain, and as Cross had said, they wouldn't lose this catch now. However, the fish on the line had gotten too big.
必ず釣り上げられる魚だ。何も焦る必要はないのだよ。親父が生きていたなら、ぜひ見せて誇りたいほどの大成功なのだ。
ええ、それは分かっています。ですがあなたは昨年、私に約束したはずです。必ず1年で何とかできると。
A pained look rose to Cross's face. They certainly had hooked a fat fish that guaranteed a great success. However, it would require an appropriate amount of time to reel it in. Natsuhi pressed Cross, asking if there was any way for them to make money before this year's family conference. But Cross kept saying that he needed just one more year. Cross planned to use this unprecedented success to catapult them into further challenges in the future. Because of this, he didn't want to do anything that would raise suspicions by making it seem like they were rushing to get money. Certainly, fortune tends to turn against people who take it for granted, even in the slightest. Like by anxiously begging for money. On many occasions before now, Cross had gotten cold feet and sold businesses that would surely have brought in a profit had he just waited, and had, in effect, given away his winning picks. Natsuhi also knew this. She knew that guts were the thing her husband lacked most. That's why she was unable to refuse when, Cross said he wanted to prudently wait just one more year.
"順調でよかったではないか。ということはどうやら私はもうしばらくここで幽霊を続けねばならぬようだな。
まんざらでもなかろうが、そなたの命などこの世を去ればすぐに悪魔どもに食い尽くされる運命よ。
申し訳ありません。お父さん、また今年もお父様にはお休みいただけないかもしれません。
See, Natsuhi, your description and Beatrice's description sound a whole lot different there.
よい、気にするな、夏日。後ろ宮家当主はすでに私ではない。書斎の幽霊はおとなしく現在の当主の命令に従うべきだ。クラウスの資料は読ませてもらったが、なかなかに悪くない。
お父様からご覧になってもですか？
わらわから見てもなかなかのものよ。誰もが勝利を確信し、相当の魔力が集中している。その結果、さらに勝利が熱くなり、ますますに人と魔力を集め黄金を生み出そうとしている。錬金術の王道を見事に体現しているぞ。
おお、黄金の魔女の太鼓判までつくなら、これは心強い。喜べ、夏日。このクラウスの事業は必ずや後ろ宮家の危機を救うだろ
う。ありがとうございます。そしてそのためにまた。
もう一度親族会議を乗り越えねばならんな。
ええ、昨年はうまくやり過ごせたつもりですが、不審に思う親族も現れるでしょう。今年は正念場になると思います。
去年の親族会議の時、ひょっとしたらもう一度同じことになるかもしれぬと予見したそなたは正しかったな。
最悪のケースを想定するのは魔女ならずとも世渡りの基本だ。それで今年はどうする？
去年同様、会議当日はお父様の秘密を知る使用人を集中的に配置します。お父様の不在を気取る親族もすでにいるかもしれません。不用意な演出はむしろ馬脚を表す危険性もあります。
過ぎたるは及ばざるがごとしとも言う。なればどうする？
今年は昨年とは逆に最後まで書斎をお出にならないという筋書きでいこうと思います。
それがよかろうな。籠城は単純にして最後の切り札だ。
どれほど屋敷が毒素に満ちようとも、この部屋を密室結界に閉ざす限り金蔵の存在を否定することはできぬ。それはわらわも保証する。だが籠城すれば囲まれるは必至。
承知しています。それでも何卒もう一度だけお父様とベアトリーチェの力をお貸しください。
私は新しき当主の命令には逆らえぬ。そして幽霊もまた聖者の命令には逆らえぬしな。この部屋から出るなというのであればそれに従おう。
ありがとうございます。
わらわは嫌だぞ。力を貸せと願われても願いごときでは聞いてやれぬ。
ええ、あなたは顧問錬金術師ですから貸せと願いません。貸しなさいと命じます。あなたの魔法だけが頼りです。その力でもう一度だけお父様の幻想を。
ならばよし、心得たぞ。そなたの貫禄なかなかに心地よし。
From the shadows of the study, Battler watched the exchange between these three.
なるほどな。そして、今年の親族会議を迎えるわけだ。じいさまは不機嫌だからと書斎に閉じこもり、誰の前にも姿を現さない。
Natsui spoke boldly about how she would somehow overcome this year's crisis and protect the Ushiramiya family honor until the end, while Kinzo praised her, saying that it looked promising. Bito also praised her, saying that Natsui's dignity was even more fitting for the family head than Cross's. However, right now, the true number of people in this room was... At the same time I thought that, no, just because I thought that, Bito grabbed her chest and moaned.
安心しろ。ここはゲーム版の。だから俺は、そこにいるお前やじいさまを否定はしない。
I put my hand on Bito's as she tried to hold back the pain deep inside her chest. I already told Bern Castell. Just the 2-day period of the 1986 family conference is enough to deny the illusion of the witch.
お前は前回、全ゲームの開始時に、じいさまが死んでることを赤で宣言した。しかし、ゲーム開始以前のじいさまの生死については言及していない。つまり、今この場にじいさまが存在していても、何の矛盾もないってわけだ。
My hand that was touching her let off a faint blue light, which seeped into her chest. That light tenderly wrapped itself around the splinters in Bito's chest.
そして、この場にいるベアトリーチェの存在だって否定することはできない。ゲーム版の外、すなわち1986年10月4日以前の島の人数については赤で宣言されていないんだ。だからここにベアトリーチェが存在しても何もおかしいことはない。
Bito's expression softened slightly. My blue light slowly started to melt the red splinters that denied the illusion of the witch. Bito still wore the same sad expression, but she lifted her face and looked me right in the eye. Even though she was silent, her eyes told me that the pain had gone away. The feelings that showed in her eyes were gratitude for taking the pain away, and appreciation, or was it surprise? For leaving even a tiny bit of leeway for witches to exist. Unable to look directly at those pure eyes of hers, I automatically averted my gaze.
誤解すんなよ。魔女の存在を認めたり、あるいは屈したつもりもねえ。俺はお前とのゲームに勝つために、その部分だけに徹してストイックに戦いたいってわけだぜ。ゲーム版の外でまで嫌がらせをするほど趣味は悪くねえからな。
Bito hung her head. I was still facing away from her. However, we waited wordlessly for a while, my hand still on hers. By now, no one would believe this woman with sad eyes was the same person as that prideful Bito. So I asked once more. Even though I said it aloud, it wasn't a question to her. I was asking myself.
お前は一体何を考えていたんだ。そうさ、俺はラムダデルタのゲームを通じてでもお前を探さなくちゃならない。お前が何を考え何をしようとしていたのかもな。
Very soon, This game will also reach October 14th, 1986. The 5th game will finally begin. And this time, I'll reach the end. The end of that journey.
殺人がとかトリックがとかそういう上辺だけじゃない。お前が黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが何を考え何のためにそうしたのか、何を望んでいたのか、それをたどる。
That's right. I already know how I can reach the end of that journey. And it's been shown since the very beginning.
今こそチェス盤をひっくり返そう。この物語を俺側からじゃなくお前側からの目線で物語を紐解く。そして今度こそお前を理解しよう。そしてお前の心臓にたどり着く。痛みなんか感じさせない。安心しろ。あの魔女どものおもちゃになどもう。
Vito looked up at me again and gave me a small nod. That's right. The position of Game Master might have been snatched up by Lambda Delta. However, as long as I continue this contest with the intent of fighting against Vito, our fight will continue no matter who controls the game board. Very soon, the curtain will rise on our game.
今年の親族会議でも親方様の秘密を隠さねばならん。
Like, I get what Babbler's doing, but man, he's super wishy-washy sometimes, isn't he?
はい、心得ております。
同じ手がもう一度通じるか疑問だな。
奥様も同じご懸念を持たれている。そのため今年は書斎から一切お出にならない方向で行くことになった。
つまりずっと書斎にこもられていることにするというわけです。
Yeah, and people have good reason to be suspicious of these servants because they're liars. Look at them.
そして書斎に入ることが許されているのは我ら三人、片翼の翼を許された使用人だけだ。
ということは僕たち3人で親方様の嘘を突き通さなくちゃならないわけか。
そうだ。親族の方々は親方様の具合や機嫌などを問い詰めてくるだろう。よどみなく答え、不審に思われることがなきよう注意するように。
はい、心得ました。
姉さんはすぐどじるからな。むしろ当日は風邪か何か理由をつけて欠席した方がいいんじゃない？
そんなひどい。
Cannon wasn't just making fun of her. He only wanted to release Shannon from the burden of working on this most serious of days.
源氏様、シャノンがシフトに入る必要はないのでは？僕たちだけで十分やります。
それはできん。奥様から我ら三人は必ずシフトに入るようにとの厳命だ。
はい、やり遂げる覚悟です。
どじらないでよ。
どじりません。
Shannon grew sullen, and Cannon shrugged. Then Genji told them that they weren't taking this seriously enough.
シャノン、カノン、すでにお仕えする親方様はお亡くなりになっている。しかし本当の意味でお亡くなりになるまで我らの奉仕は続く。あの書斎は無人ではない。今なお親方様がおられ、日々の研究に勤しまれているのだ。それを深く心得よ。
はい、
源氏様。
お父様がすでに亡くなっている。
Oh yeah.
そんなバカな。
They were talking about this in one of the games.
まあまあ、
So maybe the rest of the family members figured it out, but are trying to kind of squeeze Cross out of it. I know that they were already trying to get money from him. They were working together on that, so maybe they figured out even more than that.
例えの話や。武田信玄はその死を3年の間秘密にするよう遺言したっちゅう有名な故事があるやろ。知らんか？
そんな話もあったかしら。日本史はよくわかんないわ。
当時武田は織田や徳川との戦の真っ最中だった。そこで信玄が死んだなんて話になったら戦況に悪影響が出るやろ。そやから自分の死を3年隠すように遺言したんや。秀吉かてそうやで。主君織田信長の死を敵方に知られんように徹底的に情報規制を行い、素早く毛利と和解して中国大返しを行い明智を撃ったんやないか。一方の柴田勝家はそこで失敗したんや。敵の上杉に信長の死を知られ、思わぬ反撃を受けて足止めを食らい、その後の秀吉との後継者争いで大きく遅れを取ることになったんや。
Hideyoshi, who had a strong fascination with the commanders of the Sengoku period, would always show off his knowledge whenever he got the chance. Wincing slightly, Eva made him get back to his point.
早い話が、わしは去年の親族会議からずっと違和感を取ったんや。
あれは私やルドルフが遺産の話をしてたのを廊下のお父様に聞かれてしまって、それで。
そこや。夏井さんや使用人たちはどこそこにお父さんがいた、不機嫌そうだったと口を揃えたが、わしら親族は誰一人お父さんを見てないんやで。
Yep.
もしあなたの想像が本当なら、どういうこと？兄さんが遺産の独り占めを狙ってるということ？
もちろん死んだことを隠すなんてかなり危険なことや。果たして遺産を独り占めするためだけにそれだけのことをクラウスさんがやってのけるのか。わだが可能性はある。
What do you mean he wouldn't be willing to do it? Everyone seems to be willing to do crazy things to get this inheritance.
確かに兄さんは昔から強欲よ。兄弟全員でと受け取ったものを着服するなんてよくあることだったわ。
クラウスさんはわしら兄弟の中では一番裕福なはずや。そんなクラウスさんがお父さんの死を隠すなんて危険を冒してまで遺産の独り占めを目論むとは、わしにはちょいと信じられんのだがな。だがそう疑いたくなるくらい去年の親族会議はおかしかったんやで。
Eva and the others were painfully aware of how reckless it would be to try and see Kinzo when he was in a bad mood. So, during last year's family conference, the whole time after they heard about Kinzo getting into a terrible mood, they never actively tried to contact him. That's why, to this very day, they hadn't found it suspicious that Kinzo hadn't shown himself once.
確かに疑ってみる価値はあるわね。でも本当に兄さんがお父様の死を隠すなんて大それたことをするかしら。傲慢なくせにおかしなところで小心な人よ。そんな一世一代の大博打を本当にするかしら。
いずれにせよ今年の会議ではきっちりお父さんのご尊願を拝謁した方がええやろな。
Sounds like a good idea.
非常に良くない噂さ。どうやら兄貴の事業は俺たちの想像を超えて手ひどく失敗してるらしい。
Yeah, we do know that they had talked about this.
相当の損失を抱えてて、表向きを取り繕うだけで精一杯らしい。
つまりクラウスさんからお金を借りるのはとても難しいことというわけね。
ああ、泣けてくる。
クラウスさんにとって 経済的に困窮していることはある種の弱みにはならないの？
弱みそりゃ投資家は超えてるから投資家なんだぜ。実は金欠だなんてことになったら誰も見向きもしねえ。
信用第一の世界なのね。
Kyrie smiled thinly. Rudolph was taken aback by that smile. He had figured that his plan, which involved raising money to get him out of his current mess by borrowing from the affluent Cross, would all come to nothing now that they knew Cross himself was in financial trouble.
クラウスさんの信用はクラウスさんのこれからのお仕事に必要だろうけれど、私たちのこれからには必要ないわ。
兄貴をゆするってのか。
私だったら嫌よ。血のつながった兄弟を貶めるなんて。
Rudolph felt a shiver go up his spine at Kyrie's cold smile. At times, Kyrie was able to throw away all compassion and think in an extremely ruthless manner. When he felt that, Rudolph became certain that he'd never like to have her as his enemy.
他に金策があるなら、お兄さんを脅迫なんてしたくないものだわ。
あったら悩んだりしねえ。
This actually sounds a little bit different than the one I'm used to. It's got like a fluty thing in it.
選択の余地のない問題で悩むのは人生の無駄だと思うわ。
Rudolph stopped talking, folded his arms, and lowered his gaze. Some of the terror Rudolph had felt for Cross due to his violence when they were young still remained. And now he would threaten Cross. That meant Rudolph would also have to fight against his childhood trauma. So to give her husband a little push, Kyrie smiled reassuringly. And perhaps coldly.
つくづく信用で仕事をしたくないものだわ。信用ほど積み上げるのに苦労して失う時が一瞬なんて割の合わない投資はない。
そうだな。世の中100の信用より1枚の診察だ。
クラウスさんが大きな損失を出していると言っても、私たちの急場をしのぐためのお金くらいは十分用意できるはず。もちろんクラウスさんのこれまでの信用を換金してお金を作ってもらうことになるけれど。
こいつはやばい話になるな。
十分な備えが必要よ。私たちには時間も失敗も許されてない。そうだったわね。私の京都の友人たちにそういうのを洗うのが上手な人たちがいるわ。あまり世話になりたくない連中なんだけど、一度会ってもらってもいい？領収書は切れないけど、きっと投資に見合うだけのものを調べ上げてくれるわ。
ええ、マリアも元気よ。そちらは大きなお世話よ。ありがとう。さあ、スケジュールを見てみないとわからないけど。
Rosa was talking to Rudolph over the phone. In between beating her child, verbally, Rosa rarely received calls from her older siblings, so she braced herself for something serious.
実はな、次の親族会議についてちょいと兄貴抜きで意見を調整したいんだ。
エヴァ姉さんとルドルフ兄さんと私の3人で頭痛の増えそうな話ね。
電話じゃ詳しくは話せない。だがお前にとって聞く価値のある話のはずだ。
それはいい話？
もちろん姉貴は乗り気だぜ。
姉さんが？
ローザには賛同してほしいだけだ。金を出せとかそういう話じゃない。俺たち3人が全員結束してることがまず大事なんだ。わかるか？
Rosa let out a sigh. She did so because, in the past, when Rudolph and Eva got into a fight with Cross, they always used to talk to her like this right before dragging her into it.
先に教えて。その話は私も得をする話よね。
ああ、俺たち3人で2億ずつせしめる。うまくいけばそれ以上も引っ張れるかもしれない。お前の借金それでチャラだ。
Man, everyone in this story has money problems.
それはいつまでにせしめられるの？
Or at least all the siblings, I should say.
俺も助かる。姉貴も助かる。そしてローザも助かるってわけだ。三方丸く収まる。
姉さんが話に乗るくらいには勝算があるのね。
話を聞く気になったが、ちょいと急だが、次の日曜日の19時に銀座、俺と姉貴の予定がそこでしか合わねえ。問題ないか
？2億捻出できる話なら聞かないわけにはいかないわ。では次の日曜日の午後7時にレオポルドで。
マリアちゃんによろしくね。連れてきてもいいんだぜ。
あの子の前でお金の話はやめて。
She set the receiver down with a clunk, a little violently. Apparently either Ebba or Rudolph had gotten a hold of one of Cross's weak points. They would probably threaten him with that at the next family conference and force him to pay money. Even before hearing the details, she knew full well that it could be nothing good. But even so, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to pay back her large debts. Rosa took a notebook out of her handbag and started to fill in the days she would be meeting with Rudolph and Eva. Then she frowned and smacked herself hard in the forehead, because written there was DZL with Maria, something she had planned to do with her daughter. Oh well, better cross that out. Maria was in her room, playing around excitedly with Sakataro and the others. It was because she was going to be taken to the amusement park that had just been created. Disneyland the following Sunday. Looking at the clock, Rosa saw that it was just past 9 at night. Maria was breaking the lights out rule. After covering her face and agonizing for a while, Rosa stood up and stomped over to Maria's room. The room was almost certainly a mess as well. At least tonight, that was convenient. As she stood outside the door to Maria's room, listening to the happy laughter seeping through, Rosa's face twisted in anguish once again, and she looked at the floor. Then, when she raised her head again, her brow was furrowed, and her face had become an ugly expression of anger. Thunder slowly rumbled. Oh, okay. As the door opened, thunder rumbles as Maria's mom, Rosa, gets ready to lay the smackdown. Yeah, that's where we'll stop today. I hope you guys enjoyed, though. It's definitely becoming apparent that everyone in the family, sibling-wise, is having money problems. And that Natsuhi and Cross's attempts to cover up Kinzo's death is not going very well. Or, they haven't figured it out yet, but they're getting suspicious, I should say. But anyway, we will continue on with that next time for more Umineko. Bye!